Hey everyone, Justin Holland here with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. I want to welcome everybody to the show. I think we've got some pretty good topics to discuss today regarding legislation that's happening with the Affordable Care Act. We just wrapped up the Affordable Care Act enrollment deadline, or the first of two deadlines for that, so I'm going to discuss that. But before I kick off into the discussion and the show, just a reminder, this is the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance, where we talk everything insurance for the KTSA listeners and those that are following us online on our Mad Insurance Show YouTube channel as well. If you're not subscribing, please log in and subscribe to the Mad Insurance Show when you have a moment. We're trying to build up our following, so to speak, on YouTube. So just visit that at youtube.com/@madinsuranceshow.com. So I'm your host, Justin Holland. We've got a couple brokerages here in town that service all of South Texas and really the entire state of Texas. Texas State Insurance Services is our health insurance arm, where we help out with insurance for small business plans. We help out with Medicare plans for seniors. We just wrapped up the open enrollment there. That was pretty chaotic. I mean, we're still getting phone calls of people trying to make plan changes if they qualify right now. Texas State Insurance Services also focuses on individual health insurance options. So a lot of individuals are losing their Affordable Care Act subsidies. Something that I'm going to talk about on the show is an alternative that we got that we'll discuss on that as well. Palmetto Life Group is a division that I created specifically for life insurance, retirement plans, Social Security analysis for those that need that, long-term care planning and plans, as well as adding on auto, home, and umbrella policies, as well as commercial. So I've got two separate divisions here that we help out with all your insurance needs, and that's going to be Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. If you need help on anything health insurance, employee benefits, or Medicare, give us a call at 210-880-5316 or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. For Palmetto Life Group, if you need help with the life insurance, long-term care, the Social Security analysis, or the auto, home, and umbrella, and even commercial quotes, give us a call there at 877-357-5316 or visit us at palmettolifegroup.com. So I mentioned in the last show we'd kind of taken a break and a hiatus and just had a few recordings, but we had some cool updates last week. And I was supposed to record this show a few days ago, and we needed to push it back to Friday. So I'll record these shows in the studio and try to have an agenda and some details to share with the audience over the weekend when the show airs on the radio here on KTSA 550. Or on the YouTube channel that we'll upload and get drafted on that as well. But there was some breaking news a few days ago in the morning when I was here at the station, and it was regarding the Affordable Care Act subsidies. So I'm going to dive into that right off the bat of the show. But some of the other topics we're going to talk about is the ACA decisions that are happening legislatively, the premium shock on the subsidy expiration. I'm going to remind everybody of what we're facing there, and some healthcare alternatives that we just brought on board with our brokerage recently. I mean, within days. So for those individuals that are relatively healthy but don't qualify for an employer-sponsored health insurance plan, but also don't qualify for lower-cost subsidy plans, this is a solution for you. You're going to want to reach out to us pretty soon. Or sooner than later, to look at those. And we're vetting the company. We got contracted with them, doing a ton of quotes and some due diligence for our clients on that. But it's an interesting option that is going to provide an alternative for those that need, hey, I need coverage, maybe not necessarily major medical, but I need to take care of some medical situations if they arise in the future. And you want to protect yourself from those expenses. So I'm going to dive into that as well. But the first things first, let's talk about what happened earlier this week. And basically what happened is Speaker Johnson was ready to move forward on the ACA subsidies, but a few Republicans actually said, hey, listen, we need to break off from this. We've got to come from a solution. We've got to continue these expanded subsidies that are helping out the middle class Americans, and created some chaos for that as well. I mean, I got to admit, I'm kind of happy that they did that. I understand the argument on the right side of legislation. Say, hey, listen, this is an abomination. You know, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, the marketplace plans it's just not working. Agreed, but it is working for many though. Okay, and it could be a lot better than what it is, but just taking out those expanded subsidies that helped out hundreds of our clients and millions of people across the country, you're crippling and putting tremendous pressure financially on the middle class. Those expanded tax credits helped out a segment of the United States population that really needed that help, okay, and on the premiums. And that's why I am all for getting an extension on these subsidies. Listen, we need a better solution. I get it, and I agree. But you just can't take away that lifeline that was given to so many people for affordable insurance. It took care of the children that got sick, took care of them that got sick as well. I have story after story of where the insurance has helped individuals with some serious medical situations that have come up. And we've got a lot of these people that qualified for the expanded subsidies were in an income bracket where they're not just there yet for Medicare, okay, where they could get some relief on Medicare plans. They're not 65 yet. So these subsidies helped out many people and clients regarding affordable coverage to bridge that gap until they get qualified for Medicare. So, let's see how this shakes out. We're going into a weekend. We got Christmas next week. I don't know if anything's going to vote, obviously, until January, but it looks like there's a shakeup. The subsidies are absolutely going to expire at the end of the month, but there could be something that's going to legislatively that fixes that or extends it. That remains to be seen, but I'm hoping that we see some there. And I'm pulling up an article here on AP, the Associated Press. Speaker Mike Johnson has made made refrain when asked by Republicans whether they're moving to extend the federal health care subsidies. Their party wanted to help 100% of Americans with the cost, not just the 7% of American enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. Yeah, I know that could be 7%. I need to double check that stat, but we're talking millions and millions of people. Okay, so hopefully a lot of legislation has been in the works for years. The Affordable Care Act was in the works for years before it, finally came to fruition. You would think that over 12 years now of having this legislation and the Affordable Care Act, that they'd have some better tweaks and solutions. And I'll tell you that one of the most major changes, or I'll tell you two examples where they finally tweaked it and made it better. They got rid of the family glitch situation where the employees of a company could actually now get their family members on the Affordable Care Act and qualified for a subsidy and not be pinched on having to get them on the employer-sponsored plan. The family glitch was a huge correction in the Affordable Care Act about 36 months ago and helped out tons of our clients as well, specifically our employee benefits clients that needed some relief from having to pay exorbitant premiums to add a spouse, a child or children, one or the other or both on the plan. So the family glitch, getting rid of that helped tremendously 36 months ago. Then you had the COVID era subsidy extensions that basically sparked in the middle class to be, I'm talking middle class, $100,000, $150,000, depending on the family size. They were qualifying for some relief on their premiums. And that was a huge update. And to take that back and scale that back from those individuals that have had that opportunity to have affordable coverage, it's wrong. And you shouldn't do it. And I'd love to visit with our local leaders here in Congress and discuss this. We want to help bring solutions. Agent brokers like ours with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group, we're in the trenches. We're seeing what people need. We have the ability to give you insight on group insurance plans and benefits and what we're seeing there, as well as the Affordable Care Act and Medicare. So just know that we're going to try to work with our legislatures off of that. But right now, they just need to extend those subsidies, and it remains to be seen. It's political theater here online. You see all these updates and, all these alerts. So it's hard to know what is actually going to happen or what could happen. But I'm sure on next week's show or the week after to kick off the new year, we'll have a better understanding of what we have to work with, specifically on Affordable Care Act individual health insurance plans, and then the alternatives that you might want to consider for your coverage. But let's talk about some deadlines, okay? I just mentioned that we wrapped up the first of one deadline for the Affordable Care Act. December 15th was the deadline for anybody that had individual coverage or didn't have individual coverage and wanted to secure a January 1st effective date, okay? And there was no extension to that. We had a handful of clients that just did not reach out to us in time that we're going to have to make adjustments for a February 1 effective date. So the only way you can technically get January 1 coverage on Affordable Care Act or individual plans is if you recently lost coverage and have a qualifying event to justify a January 1 effective date. As of right now, outside of that, you have to wait until you have up until January 15th to get engaged with a plan for a February 1st effective date. So hopefully that helps kind of hone in on the deadlines for everybody and what you need to do to prepare to reach out to us to get enrolled on your individual plans. Maybe you already enrolled in a January 1 and you're not liking the plan that you got into. You have until January 15th, a couple weeks to size that plan up once it gets effectuated for the new year and possibly changing to a new carrier for February 1. Because I will tell you, sometimes individuals go to a plan based on price, and I get it. They want to have a lower cost plan, and then they find out a doctor's not in network or a doctor left the plan network that you initially saw that they were in. So there's a 2-week spread there up until, or a couple week spread up until January 15th for us to help you take a look and see if maybe you need to make a change for February 1. Because after that, it's done. You can't get individual health insurance unless they do some type of extension on the subsidies. I would imagine they would have a special enrollment period that you could take advantage of on that. So some observations I had with the recent enrollment. We've got longtime clients, 10 plus years that we've had individual clients that are opting out of having health insurance. I had a handful of clients that we did quotes for and looked at options, and they could not afford it. And I get it. And they're going to take a risk of just kind of self-insuring unless some changes happen collectively on the Affordable Care Act and the insurance options that they have access to. But a lot of our clients just said, Justin, we're just going to go without coverage and just let us know if anything changes or there's alternative coverage. That was tough. Obviously, we're losing clients and we don't generate any revenue from that. But also just the fact that we're just at a point where we don't have any alternative solutions. And I pride ourselves and our brokerage for having solutions. And we just didn't have it for a handful of our clients. And we're hoping to come back to them with some stuff. And here in the show, I'm actually going to talk about one solution that we probably want to consider as an alternative for affordable insurance. Families choosing to go uninsured to the affordability. It's not just longtime individual clients. We've got complete families that were priced out of the insurance that they wanted, and that was tough as well. Okay, the fact that you've got or sometimes we had a couple scenarios or a handful of them where the parent said, "Hey, listen, I can't afford the insurance for all of us. So I'm just going to have the children on a plan, and then I'll put, us on an alternative if you ever get it." So that leaves exposure for some family members. We saw that happen. I will tell you the emotional toll that it's taking on some of our clients on not having an affordable health insurance option has been really tough. Okay. We've had individuals get real emotional because they're like, Justin, I need health insurance. They've got a chronic condition or they've got an illness that they need to keep on taking care of, and they haven't made it to Medicare age yet. They're still in their late 50s or early 60s, and they can't afford $1,000 plus a month just for the premium. That isn't including the copays, prescription drug copays, the copays for the doctor, specialist, urgent care, emergency room, co-insurance, the prescription drugs that need to be covered. $1,000 a month in premium for some of these individuals is just ridiculous, and we're there, and I'm hoping we can see some light at the end of the tunnel on those options for some really good people that need affordable health insurance out there. Those that are just trying to be proactive and just be prepared. God forbid something comes up, catastrophically in a medical situation, and those that are already dealing with it that need to make sure they stay covered and protected to save their lives. And I will tell you, we've helped so many clients that have come in and said, hey, you saved our life. You helped us get into an insurance plan. You helped us navigate into something affordable. Maybe they had to give up a few doctors, but they were able to continue coverage and keep from having catastrophic medical expenses that can just be crippling to any family that faces those. So I talked about the deadlines for the Affordable Care Act, some somber situations that we're seeing as well. The financial reality, the premium sticker shock that we're seeing. I'd mentioned this in one of the shows, or probably the past couple shows that we've had. $1,000 or $1,800 premium for a family is basically doubling. We've got individuals that were paying anywhere from $200 to $300 a month for their premium. Those are going to $1,000 plus. Those are what's really causing some chaos and sticker shock for many individuals. Sometimes these family members are kind of rallying together to help others to pay for some of the insurance, but it's where we're at. It's the sign of the times right now. Let's talk about the breakdown of the premium increases going into 2026. What happens if they expand the tax credits or if they are not extended? Who is being hit the hardest? I will tell you, that's something I'll probably dial in on, is self-employed individuals have been hit the hardest. Those early retirees, those individuals that are basically 4 to 5 years out from getting Medicare, they are facing those tough premiums. Small business owners are facing, and this isn't on the individual plans, we're seeing small business owners that are needing to basically say, hey, we're going to get rid of our group health insurance plan. We need our employees to go in the marketplace because we can't face these higher increases in premium. Okay, because they're basically trying to subsidize these premiums for their employees. In most small business plans, it's really the only avenue to where you can have a PPO network in most cases, or you're with a large employer that has a PPO offering that everybody wants. I can't tell you how many phone calls we get. Hey, Justin, I need insurance and I want a PPO network. And I want this and that. Unfortunately, it's give and take for a lot of individuals. But back to the small business owners, they're faced with increased premiums on their small business plans because a lot of their employees would go to the marketplace and get individual coverage there and get subsidized coverage. And sometimes they would go there and should probably be on the company plan, but they didn't. And that's created participation issues in those small group plans to where they're just not affordable. And I'll tell you, the flip side of that is many of the employees on these small business plans were receiving subsidies in the subsidy bracket that's going to go away. So those premiums are going to go up for them, and then they might need to want to try to bounce back into the group plan that might have already, gotten rid of that group coverage offering specifically for the health insurance. So it'll be interesting how this plays out into the new year. and how we can assist those small business owners navigate. Hey, do we just offer ancillary options and then have you, Justin, and the team take care of the individual health insurance for the employees? There are ICRAs that are coming up as well again in topics and discussion and legislation. Whole another topic there. I'll probably bring that up in a show and have a guest speak on that with us into the new year. But it's just we're in a holding pattern right now, and we're going to see how the next few weeks play out on the legislation for the Affordable Care Act. What I wanted to call out right now is basically some accountability for our local legislature, our congressman here in San Antonio. And what I'd like to do is I want to extend an invitation to District 20, Joaquin Castro. I'd love to sit down and visit with you and let you know what we're seeing with your constituents here in the San Antonio market regarding their health insurance. Real stories, real constituents, what they're facing. District 21, Chip Roy. I met Chip Roy years ago in Washington, D.C. at his office. He was very gracious, and we discussed where health insurance was at. And he actually has an agenda on his website. And it seemed like he was one of the few out there that, hey, let's dig into this. Let's figure out how we can help this health insurance situation that millions of people are dealing with. So I'd love to sit down or visit with Chip Roy, hopefully, in the coming weeks. My district, 23, Tony Gonzalez, tried to reach him last week on a town hall that he had. Unfortunately, got disconnected there. So I'm hoping I can visit and sit down with Tony Gonzalez with District 23 and visit with him on what we're seeing in his district, my district, where I'm at, and what the constituents are seeing on their health insurance and what's going on with their health care, and give him some real life scenarios and maybe some input on what we think could help. District 28 is Henry Quad, which branches into the South San Antonio area. He's out of the Laredo office. Obviously, we'd love to visit with him and get a handle on where he stands on health insurance and the Affordable Care Act and the expanded subsidies. District 35, Greg Kassar, would love to visit with him. And I have not met him. I've met most of these other individuals in the past. But Greg, I'd love to sit down and visit and just kind of see where you're at on affordable insurance and what you all want to do to be proactive with that for us in the future. So those are the local district individuals here. Probably going to want to reach out to some there in Deep South Texas because we do a lot of business in the Deep South Texas area, and then I'll reach out to them. But we just want to frame a discussion and make it not partisan. It is personal, because I'm seeing firsthand what's going on with these health insurance premiums and how they're really affecting and providing tremendous pressure on people to get affordable health insurance. Constituents need the relief, so not years from now, we need it now. And I'm hoping that we will have an extension on these tax credits so we can get some immediate relief right now and possibly extend that relief to those that need it as well on affordable insurance, and then work on it this year and come up with a solution to kick off 2027 with, or sometime this year. I don't know. We haven't seen anything that's been brought to the table on either just scrapping the Affordable Care Act completely or, trying to modify it and tweak it. The Trump administration, Biden administration, both those administrations had the ability to tweak and update some aspects of the Affordable Care Act. And I think they could have done more. So hopefully we can see more from them moving forward, this current administration moving forward. And it's a challenge. There's a lot of details to unpack and scenarios. So I'm optimistic. I'm an optimist. I tell my clients and my friends, I see the best in it. I think our best days are yet to come with that. But we'll see. Hopefully we get to sit down with our congressman and visit about, some real solutions that we want to see bring to the table for everybody with affordable health insurance. You're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, Making a Difference in Insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland, with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. We've got this show, the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance, to provide some value, insight, updates regarding everything insurance. That could be with our Texas State Insurance Services Division, health insurance for individuals, Medicare plans for seniors, small group insurance plans, if you need travel insurance, dental, vision, all of that. Those employee benefits that you might need to review for your small business. We'd love to help you take a look at those. And you can reach us at Texas State Insurance Services at 210-880-5316, or you can visit us at the website, txstateinsurance.com. Palmetto Life Group is a division that we created specifically more for life insurance assistance, maybe some retirement options assistance as well and solutions there. Long-term care plans for those that see the need for long-term care. No question we're going to have an epidemic with that at some point, and I think people need to be prepared for long-term care needs because long-term care is not covered by health insurance. It's not covered by Medicare. You need to have a plan to take care of your long-term care needs. And sometimes long-term care hits you before you even make it to Medicare age or retirement. But we've also added with Palmetto Life Group auto insurance, homeowners insurance, umbrella policies, and we can take a look at commercial lines as well. So you can reach us at Palmetto Life Group at 877-357-5316 or go to the website palmettolifegroup.com, complete a contact form, and we'll be in touch with y'all as soon as possible. So I can't thank you enough for joining us on today's show. We've been talking about the challenges that we had with the Affordable Care Act, some of the enrollment deadlines that have come up, what we're seeing as far as scenarios and details that everybody needs to keep in mind regarding the legislation that could be changing. I think it's time to kick off or discuss some health insurance alternatives that are launching here in Texas. And we're actually pretty excited about this. The healthcare alternative that we've got is, I'm going to provide some scenarios, what it's designed to do, some scenarios on what the cost would be, where it would protect y'all. Now, this solution that we've got on alternative health coverage is approved and it's basically regulated by the Texas Department of Insurance. A lot of other companies that have tried to do that have not gotten TDI approval, and this company has. So we're doing some due diligence with them this week, so we can help out with quotes. We did actually a ton of quotes for those individuals that had Affordable Care Act insurance with us that were losing their subsidies or not qualifying and priced out of the market with that. This is a solution for them. Now, if you've got some serious pre-existing conditions or some medical conditions, that's going to be a tough way to try to get approved. This is going to be, if you're healthy, relatively healthy, and say, hey, Justin, I need health coverage in place. I need it to be affordable, but I want something, hey, if I get a heart attack, if I get really sick, if I'm in an accident, this is where this is going to come into play and help you with that. There's some prescription drug component benefits to this as well. There's even wellness benefits that you can add onto these plans. And I'm going to basically kind of tease y'all with a breakdown of what we're seeing this can provide. And then you're going to reach out to us and just let us know, hey, I heard you talking about this health coverage alternative. Would love to visit and get some pricing, and we'll get a time set up and review that with you. And you can, again, call us at 210-880-5316 or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com, which is the Texas State Insurance Services website. We've got a contact form, and we can discuss these affordable health and coverage options that I think are going to be a good solution. And we're sizing that up, and we're very excited to be contracted. They literally just launched in Texas, and actually their initial launch is in the state of Texas with expansion in other states as well. But let's go over a little bit of high level positioning that they're doing. They're designed for affordability and flexibility. It's not an Affordable Care Act plan. It's not major medical, so that's an important distinction on that there's some exposure on what you might be expecting from this insurance plan. but I'm going to dive into that as well. It's got bundles for, it's basically a bundled policy. It's got sickness, accident, and a wellness that can be added on there as well. It's a national provider network. They're using the First Health Network, which is a very large network that other insurance companies utilize. So that was nice. A lot of people say, hey, I want a PPO network. Well, it's not an HMO or a PPO. It's a nationwide network that you're going to be able to utilize your coverage and care. And even out-of-network coverage is going to be covered with this, which is pretty cool. So if you go to somebody that's not in network for whatever reason, you'll be able to submit a claim and get reimbursed off of that. So national provider network, flexible out-of-pocket maximums. So you got 4 tier levels there that I'll talk about. Coverage includes pharmacy benefits, also includes maternity care, emergency services, additional covered scenarios that I'll discuss as well. Optional preventative care and wellness is going to be with a first dollar fixed indemnity payment. So that's important for us to review that when we're doing a complete review on that. Policies do not provide major medical insurance. That's what I reiterated a minute ago. Accident and sickness coverage only. And benefits pay in addition to other enforced coverage as well. So if you've got other coverage, you can actually utilize that with this plan as well. Let's dive in to the highlights of it, okay? It's built on the foundation of premium services with a nationwide network, okay? That's something they try to get across on the new coverage option here that we're rolling out for our individuals. They are zero deductible plans. They're first dollar benefits, no deductibles, with transparent coinsurance. So you see the value when you use it. So that's pretty cool. No deductible to hit. You know, they're going to do a coinsurance split with you day one, and that's up until you hit a maximum limit. Real insurance, really, not healthcare sharing ministry programs. It's 100% licensed with health insurance, and it's also based on those 100% Christian values as well. So this company's actually been able to provide a happy medium between that thin line of health insurance and those sharing ministry plans. That was approved by the state of Texas. Maximum out-of-pocket rollovers. So half of your maximum out-of-pocket can roll over into the renewal year. That's pretty slick. So let's say you had $5,000 left of your max out-of-pocket exposure. $2,500 of that would go over into the new year. That's pretty cool on getting that rollover into the new year. So that's something innovative that really piqued our interest on this new coverage plan and option that we're looking at. I mentioned a moment ago, nationwide network, convenient access to more than 993,000 providers across 5,700 hospitals in the First Health Network. So that gives them some peace of mind that you've got a robust network of doctors to take on this new coverage option if it's a good fit for you. There's no policy maximums. Accident, sickness policies provide financial protection with no limit or no maximum policy benefit cap. So that's important too. They're not going to cap you at 100,000 or 500,000, whatever it is. There's no cap with that. That is a huge scenario to consider on having your health coverage protection with this new plan that we've got, because there's other coverage options where they'll cap you out and you'll have a maximum limit. Pharmacy benefits, the drug costs are fully integrated into the out-of-pocket maximums. Prices are negotiated and managed and processed by the industry experts. So ultimately, you've got pharmacy coverage. Now, if you're taking some high-tier medications, we'll want to double-check their formulary off of that. But your day-to-day maintenance medications more than likely are going to be covered off of that. 24/7 virtual care. Enjoy the convenience of a nationwide 24/7 access to virtual primary and urgent care services. That's huge. My wife this morning just woke up, called me a little while ago before I jumped here at the radio station on the show. She's like, I got sick. I was feeling fine yesterday, but I'm not feeling well today. And she can either do the 24/7 virtual care that we have with our current plan, or she can run down to an urgent care. I will tell you, I love urgent care. I probably have gone to them a handful of times this year, and I was able to get into them sooner and quicker and expedite my healthcare visit for the urgent care than a lot better and easier than I could with my primary care. Love my primary care doctor and nurse practitioner over there, but the urgent care, I'm in and out, get the medications thrown at me or thrown to the pharmacy, and I'm off to the races. So love urgent care coverage that we can take advantage of. This is important too. There's a pro-life providers. Easily discover a rate and review healthcare providers who align with your personal values in your area. For some people, that's really important, and you'll have access to that. Summary on the plan options. So the annual deductibles are zero on all 4 options that they have. They have an elite, they have a secure, they have a value, and they have an essential plan. And all of those have 0 deductibles. The co-insurance starts at 50-50, okay? 50% right off the bat, out the gate with the coverage. Your maximum out of pocket, you'll have a maximum out of pocket for sickness, and then you've got a maximum out of pocket scenario with accident. On the elite plan, it's $2,500 and $2,500. The secure is $5,000 and $5,000. The value, $7,500, $7,500. And then the essential is $10,000 and $10,000. You double those for the family. Okay, they cap out at a double for that for family coverage. Virtual primary and urgent care is a 50% co-insurance. Basically, the company's going to cover 100% after you meet that maximum out of pocket. But if you need virtual primary or urgent care, it's a 50-50 split on those costs. Pregnancy and maternity, there's some exclusions that apply. So that's a case-by-case scenario. But maternity, no question, is covered in this plan, which is really exciting. There's 50% covered co-insurance for that, 50-50 split. Office and specialist visits, again, 50-50 split on what that cost would be. Pharmacy coverage, 50% co-insurance on that. Outpatient services, going to be 50%. Emergency care, 50%. Urgent care, 50-50 split. And the annual lifetime maximum, there is no annual lifetime maximum, which is real exciting with these plans. And it can give our clients that got priced out of those Affordable Care Act plans without subsidies, or even their group insurance plans in some cases, and they're going to have the peace of mind of not having a lifetime maximum benefit to worry about, okay? A bundled package that brings together sickness, accident, and optional wellness coverage, offering you protection when you need it. That's not a disclaimer, but kind of a tagline that we've got with this carrier. It's a non-ACA package offering coverage across 3 major medical claim types: your sickness claim, your accident claim, and your wellness, under separate policies. So basically, they've created a solution to where we've segmented out the way you can get sick or have an accident or just complete your wellness, which is pretty cool and ingenious, and we're liking this strategy that they're putting together. Let's talk about these specifically. Sickness policy is extensive coverage for a broad spectrum of conditions, ranging from serious illnesses like cancer to more common ailments such as a cold. This policy ensures that you're protected against a variety of health challenges, no matter how big or small. So we're talking, hey, sickness from cancer to just a common cold or coming down with COVID or whatever it is for the year. Accident policy coverage on this plan. So that coverage is for accidents and unexpected events ranging from sports injuries to burns and beyond. Whether it's a minor mishap or a more serious accident, this policy ensures that you're prepared for life surprises with the protection you need. So the sickness portion and the accident portion, okay? And on top of that you can add is the wellness policy. So that's an optional fixed indemnity coverage that offers cash reimbursement for your preventative care services, for preventative care and extra financial support for routine checkups, screenings, and other preventative measures that you might need. It's really a smart way to be proactive about your health while you're keeping the costs in check. So sickness policy, wellness policy aspect, and accident policy aspect of the coverage. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what that entails there. So let's talk about the benefits on this as well. Sickness and accident benefits. Office visit is going to be covered. Primary care specialist. That's all going to be covered on sickness and accident coverage. Diagnostics, blood work, X-rays, MRIs, PET scans, CT scans, and more. That's checkmarked and covered as well. Emergency, urgent care, emergency room, medical transportation, also covered within this plan. Surgery, surgeons, and facility fees, both sickness and accident are covered on that. Hospitalization, provider and facility fees are covered. Rehabilitation, home health care, skilled nursing, hospice, and equipment are also covered, and a check mark off that of your list as well. Therapy, physical, speech, and occupational therapy is included. Maternity with your prenatal visits, imaging, delivery services, and facility fees are also covered. Now, there's exclusions there. It's a case-by-case basis, but make no mistake, you've got maternity coverage in these plans that could be affordable for you. So the wellness benefits add-ons that we want to talk about are going to be basically a fixed dollar amount of what they will help with. So if you add on the wellness benefit, let's say you get your physical examination, they're going to help reimburse $200 of that. Okay, pretty solid benefit there. Health screening, diagnostics, and labs, they're going to cover $50. Newborn birth screenings would be $350. Infant routine pediatric wellness would be $200 that they cover. Children routine immunizations, $70. Mammograms would be up to $350. A PSA test, $35. Colonoscopy, this is going to be probably the higher amount of any of them. $1,100 is what they will apply on your wellness for that. Osteoporosis screening, $225. Health screening and chest x-rays, $200. Got a couple $100 there. An EKG, I just had one of those earlier this week for my cardiologist checkup, and that's $75. Stress EKG would be a double of that regular EKG of $150. Something that I'll put on the pregnancy and maternity is the first year are subject to separate pregnancy deductibles. So you can absolutely have pregnancy and maternity care, but that first year is probably going to have a separate deductible that's carved out there. And for most people, that's probably going to be reasonable on the coverage and plan because you're getting coverage with that. So let's talk about some scenarios about this potential health insurance option that we're bringing to the table. But before I do, I'm going to do a little station identification. You're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, Making a Difference in Insurance. My name is Justin Holland with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. We've got this show to provide value and insight in everything insurance. Texas State Insurance Services is our local South Texas brokerage that helps out with individual health insurance plans, Medicare plans for seniors, individual group plans, and employee benefits plans for those businesses that want to offer that. We'd love to visit with you. Travel insurance as well. If you need help out with travel insurance, Texas State Insurance Services is a division to help you out with that. That phone number is 210-880-5316, or visit us at txstateinsurance.com. You can also go to Palmetto Life Group for your life insurance needs, long-term care planning and plans, some retirement options, Social Security analysis. And what I've mentioned multiple times before is that we've added auto, home, and umbrella policies as well as commercial assistance. So Palmetto Life Group is our division to help you out there. That number is 877-357-5316, or visit us at palmettolifegroup.com. We've got 4 locations to conveniently visit with clients around the San Antonio area, and we have an office in McAllen in the South Texas area servicing the Rio Grande Valley. So we're trying to make it as accommodating as possible for those clients that want to stop by the office, throw some stuff on the big screen for review, and we'd love to help you in person as well. But the Mad Insurance Show is here talking about everything insurance, and we're going to pick up where we left off on the affordable health insurance options or health coverage options that we have where it's just unaffordable, or it's unaffordable with other scenarios, either through an employer-sponsored plan or the Affordable Care Act, where you don't qualify for a subsidy or tax credit. The scenarios that I'm going to bring up are what this new coverage that we're bringing to the table in the area can help out with, and some examples of how these bundled packages work as one. Let's talk about an early retirement couple. Fortress plan that we've got access to on this is going to have a zero deductible, 50% coinsurance. It's going to have a $5,000 maximum out of pocket, and it's going to have a double that for the family. Okay, that would be $10,000. The scenario that we're going to discuss here is Jerry and Marissa. They joined the plan after selling their business 3 years ago, and Jerry had an unexpected heart attack. An example of cost for the emergency treatment and rehabilitation services that they're providing here is about $128,000. Actually, $647 to be exact. Jerry and Marissa would pay zero on the overall deductible. Remember, there's no deductible to meet. The accident coinsurance is going to be zero because it wasn't an accident. It's a heart attack. It's going to be sickness coinsurance, $5,000, and they've met it. Okay, so out of that $128,000 heart attack rehabilitation service, they would only be responsible for $5,000 of that. Okay, let's take another scenario here. Parents with school-age kids. Okay, they're on the $7,500 plan. Okay, or a maximum out-of-pocket plan. It's a zero deductible. It's 50% coinsurance, $7,500 max limit. In this scenario that we're going to bring up, it's Mike and Sarah. Their son suffered a broken forearm playing rugby, and Sarah found out that she needs to have a hysterectomy. So this is a double whammy on the coverage. So you've got a son that suffered a broken forearm, and you've got a spouse that needs to get a hysterectomy. So let's see how that breaks down. Examples of the cost and treatment is going to be around $49,000. So $49,340 is what I've got in this scenario. Mike and Sarah would pay a zero deductible. Again, no deductible to meet. The accident portion of the coverage would be $928, okay, that they would cover there. So that would be their responsibility of the broken forearm. And then the sickness coinsurance for the hysterectomy would be $7,500. So of the $49,000 or $49,340 to cover the broken forearm and the hysterectomy, the family is only responsible for $8,428. Okay, significantly lower than that exposure of almost $50,000 with that plan. No question, there's some value here with this plan. And we would love to quote it for you and provide it as an option for you. Let's talk about some newlyweds having a baby that were on this new plan that we're offering. They decided to go with the $2,500 maximum plan. Again, zero deductible, 50-50 split on the coinsurance, and $2,500 maximum out-of-pocket exposure. So this couple, their name is Zach and Annie. They're expecting their first child. They enrolled in a Fortress plan only 3 months prior to becoming pregnant. Examples of the cost for the prenatal care, ultrasounds, delivery, everything included would come out to $17,000, so $17,965 to be exact. Zach and Annie would pay an overall deductible of $5,000 because remember, they have a deductible to meet on the maternity part, okay, for having coverage maternity first year. Okay, a lot of plans out there will not cover maternity first year. This one will. So they're out $5,000 there. There's no accident or sickness. Well, actually, there's accident coinsurance, but sickness coinsurance would be included of $2,500 because that's their maximum out-of-pocket limit there. And their total out-of-pocket would be $7,500. Okay, so a maternity, delivery, ultrasounds, and all the prenatal services and care, $17,965. The insureds would only be responsible for $7,500. Another great scenario on how this plan could work for you and your family. Last example that we're going to give is a young, healthy man. He's on a plan. Let's say he went with the $10,000 maximum. He's like, hey, I want to max this out. I'm healthy. I shouldn't have any expenses. God forbid they come up. Let's say this gentleman's name is Samuel. He elected to add on the wellness policy on this policy as well. He sees his doctor annually and takes a prescription drug for infrequent migraines. The cost of everything annually for him is $394. On his plan, he would get a wellness indemnity credit, and he'd have some exposure on some non-covered expenses of about $194. So his coverage, if he was having an expense of $394, he'd only spend $194 for the year. And God forbid he has a $100,000, $1 million claim or something on a sickness or an accident. Listen, he's going to be maxed out at $10,000. That's all the exposure he'd have off of that. So hopefully these examples provide a little bit of insight on where you might fit in one of those examples before you reach out to us and get a quote on these affordable or alternative coverage options that we've got for you, where your other coverage is just unaffordable. A couple things that I want to review and break down for you is let's talk about the covered sicknesses and conditions. I think we should visit about this, and I'm going to rapid fire a handful of these, or more than a handful, on covered sicknesses and conditions. The sickness policy of these plans provides benefits for the covered sicknesses. It does not cover accidental bodily injuries or preventative services like wellness exams. Remember, this is the sickness condition part of the coverage. Addison's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, articulosis. Some of these names are a little tough. Bacterial infection, brain and nervous system disease, cancers, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, heart attack, leukemia, jaundice, influenza, hypertension. And there's a whole list of these, and I'm just kind of throwing these out there. Muscle dystrophy, ophthalmology disease. Let's see here, osteoporosis, pulmonary disease, rheumatoid arthritis, renal failure, reproductive system disease, sickle cell anemia, skin cancers, skin disease, sleep apnea, strokes, toxic shock syndrome, viral infections. That's just a handful, just a small list of what I'm seeing on the covered sickness and conditions. Let's talk about the benefits of the covered services. So benefits for covered services under the respective plan that we can quote for you. It's going to cover doctor visits, hospital confinement, primary surgery, assistant surgery, surgeries in general. You're going to see pathologist fees, occupational therapy and rehabilitation, emergency room services, ovarian, cervical cancer screenings, and sickness policy only. Some of the covered wellness services that I want to bring up are going to be chest x-rays, health screenings, colonoscopies, EKG and stress tests that I mentioned earlier, health screening diagnostic labs, infant routine pediatric care, mammograms, newborn birth, PSA tests, routine immunizations for children. So that gives you an idea of what this coverage will take care of, and hopefully it intrigues some interest. If you just are on a spot or in a position where your current ACA health insurance or your employer's sponsor plan is just unaffordable, we're probably going to want to take a look at this as an option to possibly get you covered through these plan alternatives, especially with the chaos that we're seeing with the Affordable Care Act. For those individuals that aren't close to getting Medicare eligibility yet, I'm talking late 50s, early 60s, we've got a solution that you're probably going to want to consider here, and it's going to be affordable and reasonable. To get a quote on these affordable insurance options and see if it's an alternative for you, give us a call at 210-880-5316, or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. We'd love to help you out with that. Something that I want to close out the show with as well is that we're going to bring back our luncheons Don't know if we're going to do weekly again or if we just go monthly. And these luncheons were where you can join us for Medicare and Social Security. And it's basically a workshop. So if you want details on our week workshop to either attend it remotely, click the link and visit us on the site and just let us know on our contact form. And we'll send you out a link to the next show or when the next shows are scheduled. I say show, it's actually our luncheons and those workshops that we're putting together. We'd love to have you join us for the workshop in person at our office in North San Antonio, or you can join in remotely. And this is a great value for those employers that need to help out their valued employees with maybe looking at Social Security or Medicare prep. Can't thank y'all enough for joining us on the show today. Just to wrap up, this is the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. And we're talking everything insurance, from health insurance to life insurance to auto insurance. Today's show is specifically health insurance and some health coverage alternatives that you have access to that we hope we can review for you and provide some affordable options to protect yourself, your family, or your valued employees. Can't thank y'all enough for joining on today's show. Hopefully you seek some value off of this show, and we'll have another update next week and the weeks to follow. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.